Good evening and welcome to Rupees and Cents, brought to you with the compliments of People's Leasing and Finance PLC. Insurance industry in Sri Lanka is one of the oldest industries in the country. It plays a major role, a vital role in the economy of Sri Lanka as well as in the development activities of the country. In view of its importance, a regulatory and supervising institute was established in the year 2000 known as the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka, commonly known as IBSL. My guest this evening is Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, the Director General of the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka. Welcome to Rupees and Cents, Damayanti. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you, Daya.
Damayanti, am I right in saying that the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka is similar to the CBSL or the Central Bank of Sri Lanka that overlooks the banking institutions and financial institutions?
Yeah, you're quite right, Daya, in saying so, because the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka was established in year 2000 by the Regulation of Insurance Industry Act to regulate and supervise the insurance industry. Similar to the central bank governing the banks and other institutions and the SEC governing the capital market players, the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka regulates the insurance companies, insurance brokers, loss adjusters and insurance agents operating within the insurance industry of Sri Lanka.
So now it's 16 years since this was established.
Yeah.
But what really made the government to establish this 16 years ago?
Yeah, the main objective of establishing the insurance board is to ensure that the insurance business is carried on with integrity and in a professional and prudent manner with a view to safeguarding the interest of policyholders and potential policyholders.
Policyholders?
Yes.
Okay. What in fact are the main functions, the main responsibilities of the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it's threefold. In the sense, the insurance board regulates the insurance industry. What it means is the board has to ensure that the laws in place are timely and appropriate to the industry in which the business is done, and also the insurance players, if they are non-compliant with the insurance laws and rules and regulations, the board has the authority to take enforcement action. On the other function is the supervision role, where the insurance board acts as the supervisor of the insurance industry. It monitors how market players operate. We get quarterly returns from insurance companies, annual returns, and there is a separate unit called the Supervision Division of IBSL, which examines the returns to see whether the companies are adhering to capital norms and other rules and regulations of the insurance industry.
So you're monitoring?
We are monitoring to ensure that they are in compliance with the law. That's the second main function that we are responsible for. And the third, from the policyholders' point of view, we are responsible for the development of the insurance sector. So to this extent, we do awareness programs on insurance to make the public aware about insurance, the benefits of insurance, and what should they know about when getting an insurance policy, how to make a claim and so on. So there is a awareness creation also done by IBSL as the regulator. And for this there is a separate unit known as the Market Development and External Unit of IBSL, where awareness programs are carried on at schools, maybe divisional secretariats, and also we do print and electronic media programs to educate the public about insurance and the importance of having an insurance product.
So you must be having workshops and
We do
seminars and
seminars.
conferences and so on.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned even for the students.
Students as well as the general public. For in divisional secretariat levels, we address the government officers like the Grama Niladaris, the divisional secretariat, other officers, to make them aware about the insurance as well as the regulator, insurance board, because sometimes insurance board is confused with as if it's another insurance company or so, but it's not so. It's similar to the central bank,
Right.
SEC, any other financial
Right.
regulator.
Now, there can be no insurance company or industry without the policyholders. And what are the steps that you have taken or you have been taken to safeguard the policyholders?
As I said there earlier, all our rules and regulations aim are like developed with the objective of protecting the interest of policyholders. And also on policyholder grievances, we do under the Act, we are statutorily empowered to inquire into policyholder grievances. And the board is authorized to make an order against an insurance company if it's proved that the claim of a policyholder has been repudiated on unfair grounds. And talking about policyholder protection, we also do have a policyholders protection fund where we maintain, where the insurance board maintains within itself a policyholders protection fund. Monies are credited from a cess levied by insurance companies. So on each policy that a person gets, there's a small percentage that he pays as cess, and this money is credited to the policyholders protection fund.
So that's a step taken to take care of the interest of the policyholder.
Yeah, in the event if there is a bankruptcy of an insurance company, in order to safeguard such policyholders, the policyholders protection fund will be triggered.
Now, we have insurance companies, then insurance brokers, agents, etc. I mean, how closely do you work with them?
Actually, very closely. I think, if I may so, I think more than any other financial sector regulator, we work with the regulated with in a very close and consultative manner. If I say with the insurance companies, we have every quarter we have meetings with the CEOs in order to discuss their issues, and even with the brokers we have periodic meetings. And also if the brokers and the insurance companies, if they have any issue, they make an appointment and come and discuss with us. And at this point I would like to mention that the insurance companies, there's an association known as the Insurance Association of Sri Lanka. So mostly our communications and coordination is done through the Insurance Association, because it's easy. There are 29 insurance companies at the moment, so it's easy to communicate through the association to all insurance companies. Likewise for brokers also, there are 57 brokering companies operating in the market. So there's a Sri Lanka Brokers Association. So similar to IRCSL, we communicate to brokers through the Brokers Association.
Now, like the leasing industry, you know, many years ago the leasing industry was limited to the companies that were dealing with leasing, but now you have finance companies, banks, etc. Likewise, insurance also is now being sort of handled such work by banks and financial institutions.
Yeah.
How do you look at this?
In the sense, it depends on the group structures, because if a particular group wants to have a bank, a leasing company and an insurance company to complement each other's services, it's fine as long as the insurance company, the proposed insurance company is set up separately. And all insurance companies need to be incorporated as public companies under the Companies Act. And there's a minimum capital requirements and other requirements to obtain license.
The criteria.
There are stringent criteria that an applicant should meet in order to obtain a license as an insurance company.
Right. Even if you go to start a finance company, you have, there's a criteria, and so much of money, there has to be a capital like that.
Yeah.
Right, very interesting. Then we are going to take a short break.
Okay.
We'll be right back soon after this break, so please stay tuned. Many more important issues are coming up. Welcome back. You're watching Rupees and Cents, brought to you with the compliments of People's Leasing and Finance PLC. And I've been talking to Mrs. Damayanti Fernando, the Director General of the Insurance Board of Sri Lanka. Damayanti, the Insurance Board, can you tell us about the board? I mean, how many board members are there? How are they appointed? What are their responsibilities?
Yeah, there we come under the Finance Ministry. It's an institution which comes and we are responsible to the Finance Ministry. The board comprises of 7 members. Out of the 7, 3 are ex officio members. They are the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank nominated by the Monetary Board. Then from the Finance Ministry, there is a Deputy Secretary to the Treasury. And the third ex officio appointee is the Registrar General of Companies. The other 4 members are appointed by the Honorable Minister of Finance. And out of the appointed members, 1 member is appointed as the chairperson of the Insurance Board. So that's how it operates. And the DG functions as the CEO of the organization and is responsible to the board. And there are few departments like the legal and enforcement, investigations, supervision, finance and admin, and we have like few units like the market development and external relations unit and an actuarial unit.
So considering the volume of work that you are handling, you must be having a big staff.
I don't say it's a big staff. We have altogether about 45 altogether and about 40 professionals. But with comparing with the number of insurance companies, we have 29 of them and 57 brokers. So comparatively, I wouldn't say it's a big staff, but for the moment, we have about 45.
How are you funded?
We are not funded by the consolidated fund. There is an annual fee that we charge from insurance companies, a small percentage of their business, which is credited to the fund of the board. And also there is registration fees. If companies want to be licensed as insurance companies and brokers, they need to pay us a registration fee.
Do you have to make a payment every year to renew the license?
Not for insurance companies. For insurance companies, it's a perpetual license that we grant. But for brokering companies, it's a 1-year registration that we grant, and every year it's renewed. And also there is a renewal fee embedded to the renewal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this time is a very bad time for the insurance companies, with one disaster followed by another. I heard that some of or all our insurance companies are insured against their insurance companies abroad. Is that true?
Yeah, that's correct, Daya. No, insurance is all about transferring your risk. So when a policyholder, for an example, if you take a policy, motor policy, you are transferring your risk associated whilst driving to an insurance company. Likewise, the insurance companies need to manage their risk in a sound and prudent manner. So they would in turn reinsure their risk. So they would transfer part of their risk to other companies like reinsurers. So, likewise, the companies, the local insurance companies, they reinsure with foreign reinsurance companies. However, the foreign reinsurance companies must meet with certain criteria stipulated by the board when they enter into reinsurance arrangements with the local companies. And also at this point I would like to mention that the National Insurance Trust Fund acts as a local reinsurer. That's the state.
Who controls that fund?
The National Insurance Trust Fund is a statutory board. It's a board by itself, similar to the insurance board. It's set up in the same form. It acts as a national reinsurer, and the law requires, the insurance law requires, if an insurance company reinsure their part of their risk with an outside reinsurance company, a minimum of 30% needs to be reinsured with the National Insurance Trust Fund, and the balance part they can reinsure abroad. However, they may retain a certain percentage of their risk by themselves, depending on the capital and the nature of the risk that they are insuring.
Do you get involved in disputes?
Of course, we do, only with regard to policyholder claim matters. When there are disputes between the policyholders and insurance companies, we do intervene and facilitate a settlement. The Act empowers us to inquire into disputes, whether it be a life insurance or a non-life insurance, and also the board is authorized to, as I said earlier, to make an order against an insurance company if the decision to repudiate is unjust.
Now, if you take banking industry, this is Institute of Bankers, and they conduct examinations, encourage people to study banking. And do you have anything similar to that in your company?
Not in our organization, but there is an educational arm within the insurance industry known as the Sri Lanka Insurance Institute. They conduct various insurance exams, and like some of their courses, certain exemptions could be obtained even at the Chartered Insurance Institute level exams. Certain exemptions could be obtained. And also for the agents, the Sri Lanka Insurance Institute conducts a pre-recruitment test. We have the board has authorized the Sri Lanka Insurance Institute to conduct that test. That's a minimum criteria, one of the minimum criteria in order to enter into the industry as an insurance agent.
Now, I mean, we had to admit the fact that you are more likely to be sick when you are older than when you are young. But I find that it's almost impossible to get an insurance cover for somebody who is over and above a certain age. But is there anything that can be done to ensure that these elderly people are also given some kind of an insurance policy?
It's like this, now insurance, as I said earlier, it's about managing your risk. The insurance companies needs to manage its risk, and there are certain risks that they don't take into their books. But then of course this elderly people's hospitalization cover, that's a matter for us to take forward and consider, at least out of their entire portfolio, at least to have a minimum portion of it for elderly, to cover the sickness of the elders. That's a matter I think we can look at, but theoretically insurance is basically managing the risk, and the insurance companies generally would not want to take on a higher risk to their books.
If an insurance policy can be granted to an old car, why can't that facility be extended to somebody who is
probably
old?
Yes, at a higher premium maybe, yes. And also with the reinsurance support, definitely that's a area that we can look into.
HIV, is there any sort of a scheme?
Yes, there was one company which offered a life cover to HIV infected people. I think it's a good move, but there was reinsurance protection.
Any new regulatory issues coming up?
Actually, the new regulatory regime was introduced by our Amendment Act number 3 of 2011, where composite insurance companies, that's companies carrying on both life insurance and general insurance business. There were certain companies carrying on business in that manner. Prior to 2015, such companies were required to segregate their businesses into 2 separate companies. And the deadline was February 2015. So, out of there were 12 composite companies prior to 2015. Out of the 12, 9 composite companies have segregated their businesses successfully.
In monitoring the activities or the performances of the insurance companies, do you sort of make surprise visits, or do you ask them to come and tell you how they are doing?
We don't generally carry out unsurprised visits. We do conduct on-site visits, but with prior notification.
Okay.
And we require them to keep certain documentation ready as well. But if there are issues and if there are public complaints or policyholder complaints, we do invite them for discussions.
Right. This we have been talking about something that a lot of people didn't know much about.
Yeah.
We are most grateful to you, Damayanti, for participating in this discussion despite your heavy schedule of work, and I wish you and with the board all the very best.
Thank you. Thank you to Daya. Thanks a lot.
With that, we conclude Rupees and Cents tonight, and we'll be back again 2 weeks from today at 10 p.m. right here on ITN. Do join us then. Good night.